gonna start that. I'm gonna start Wand 10 clothing.
Wand 10.
Hey, now don't steal my thunder here, okay?
It'll be like see-through T-shirts.
The Chinese version.
Why would you do that?
For fun.
Mm-hmm. Everyone threatens to start 111% clothing.
It's better than 110.
I think I should go ahead and snag that up before
You
it's
should.
too late.
111, 112, 113.
Well, we are live with Alyas Wardius.
Hi, everybody.
The man, the myth, the legend. You're kind of like a Sasquatch, you know that? Like, people claim they've seen you, and like you pop up here and there, and then you just kind of disappear.
It happens. You gotta keep people guessing, not knowing where you are, what you're doing.
That's fair.
That's probably my number one asked question now. What do you do? Work.
Well, people forget that there's actually a large amount of life outside of the racetrack.
Absolutely.
But they get used to seeing you on only one area, and that's all they associate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, though, you don't really do the social media thing.
No.
So that throws people off, too. You're not
Absolutely.
posting up food pictures or, hanging out with the girlfriend or do you have a dog?
Yeah. Two
Okay.
of them.
You're not, taking dog pictures or anything. So you're not taking, do you have a Snapchat?
Nope.
So you're not taking, snap selfies with the dogs and stuff. So it's like they forget about you.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think everybody's forgot about me pretty much.
But when intern Joe said that you were coming on, I'm like, oh, this will be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I was working at Joe's house last weekend doing some stuff, some grading for his patio and stuff, and we were kicking around the idea, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I haven't rode in like 6 months, but we'll go on there and have a good time.
Oh, it's always a good time. Yeah, you're a return guest. We couldn't quite remember which episode you were on before, but it's been a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's been at least a year, I'd say.
Yeah. About, at least a year. So what have you been up to, man? So for those who don't know you, you've been riding dirt bikes for a while.
Yep.
Raced pro for a while, did some amateur stuff, did some national stuff, threw some good whips.
I don't know about the whips. I don't have the whip game down. I never did. Never could. That's like one thing in the bag of tricks that I wished, you got like railing ruts and, your starts or whatever. And that's one thing like I wish I could have got down better is like being able to whip. I see all these amateur kids now and they're on 85s, like just tossing it sideways. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have got that down better, so that
Like
when
little
I got
Caden?
Exactly. Or like Preston or, you see so many kids now and they're just whipping their bike. And I'm like, man, I don't think I could, like if there was a whip competition, I think I would lose. Like, I don't know. I just never got that down. I don't know what the deal is, if that was from mini bikes or what it was, but I never got the whip like really nasty like some of these guys.
Man, it's like most of the pros can throw a whip.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some that they just got it greasy. Like, well, Zach Squatch.
Oh, yeah.
He can throw some whips. He
Yeah.
entered the best whip competition at Mountain View, the only non-pro to make it to the finals. And he was throwing down with the best of them.
Oh, yeah. Zach, every time I go up to his house, I watch him throw whips off his ramp, and I'll hit the ramp too, and I'm like, man, I think he'd have me beat.
I like to stay straight. I can heel clicker. I even
can't
got
do
double
that
heel
either.
clickers back.
Wow.
But I will throwing whips, and I got the ugliest scrub. I mean, go watch some late 80s BMX racing videos. That's how I scrub. It's kind of like this pump action. Yeah, that's my scrub.
A lot of muscle involved in it.
Not really. It's just really like throwing the weight into the face and then
Okay.
sliding off the back with the foot off kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe a
we go.
little sideways to help, but I have the world's ugliest scrub.
Okay.
It's fairly effective. I've ridden with some guy. Zach has a pretty nice scrub. I've ridden with him, and I think we've hit enough jumps side by side and landed into each other that I know we at least kept the same the same distance over it. But it's pretty ugly. It does not make it for good pictures.
Oh, man. If I had $1 for every time I whipped into my buddy, those are good times.
Me and Zach had some pretty good races because I normally race the 30-plus class. But I was like, for fun, I'm going to show up and race 450 intermediate with him.
Yeah.
And after 4 motos, actually before even the 4 motos were done, his dad came up to me and told me no more. And because, yeah, we went at it.
Oh, yeah.
And he would pass me, I'd pass him, and we'd slam. I'd ride over my head. I hit a pole. I flipped over the bars. We landed into each other one time off of one of the tabletops. And, yeah, because it was, you know, we see each other all the time.
Oh,
We've talked
yeah.
enough smack. We get on the track, and of course, we'd end up together.
It's like a brotherly rivalry.
Isn't that kind of fun?
Yeah.
Did you
it
ever
is.
have someone that was always like, you know, you're gonna throw down with them?
Not 100%. My brother, like if we'd get on some pit bikes, like it was game on. Like it was like, you know, set up some cones in the field, and it was game on. Like, you know, there was no winning. Like he was cutting across the field, like gonna T-bone me on a straightaway or something. You know, there was no. I was not winning. Put it that way. It was either we were both crashing or he was winning.
Because you know, a lot of these guys, like they had that. I never really had one because all the buddies I hung out with were faster. But like a lot of them had like that one guy that like they always ended up racing with. You know what I mean? And they'd almost like thrive on that off each other. And I've seen some best buddies that would absolutely just destroy each other racing. Move even sometimes like from 85s up, just always we're going at it.
I think my favorite guy to race with from around here would be Austin Ulrich. We always had fun. Ozzy was a blast. Like, you know, we'd go into the first turn at PIR and like he'd have the start or I'd have the start by a little bit, and he would always like come flying in from the outside and be like, yeah, he'd be screaming at me, and he was always a blast. Like he'd come into a corner behind me, and be like, coming in hot, and I'd always hear him, and we'd always race super clean together, and it was just a blast. Every time I raced him, I was always having fun. I was never like, oh, like, what's this guy going to do? You know, like I need to defend my line. Like, if he come up the inside and, like, run me high, like, I'd do it back in the next turn. It was always just fun, clean racing. I always had a blast racing Ozzy.
You know, he has such a weird riding style.
He
like,
does,
he
but
looks
it's sick. It's
so
really
relaxed.
Cool. Yeah.
Like, he's just out for just a stroll on his bike.
Not even trying, it doesn't look like.
He never really had the attack position. He often was, like, elbows low. But he flowed, so, you know, just had that flow. Who's the vet rider we were talking about at one time that I should know? I've banged bars with him too. Matthews from Beaverton, Jason Matthews.
Yeah,
never looks like he's trying.
just smooth.
He's just kind of kicking back, and I swear he rides a gear higher than everyone. Because I was on the track one time, and I'm getting arm pump. I got a lap to go, 30 plus class. Okay, just try to hold on, and out of nowhere, around the outside, but I never heard him. I don't know where he came from, and he just was suddenly next to me. Like, normally you know when someone's coming up and catching you.
Yeah,
and I'm slightly letting off because I think I'm all by myself in second or wherever I was. But I swear he's just rides a gear high, so you don't know he's coming, and he just like relaxed, sitting on the seat, blasted by me. Like, damn. And Ozzy did a lot more aggressive than Matthews, but he looked relaxed, you know.
Yep.
Blew my mind how fast he was.
He always made me feel like slow when you know, like if he would pass you, like he would pass you and you'd be like just getting after it, and he would like pass you, and like you said, he's kind of like hunched over and like just cruising, and I'd like watch him go by, and I was like, shit, like I'm freaking giving her everything I got, and I probably look like I'm giving everything I got, and he looks like he's just like riding through the woods, like, what's up, dude? And just there you go.
He's just like chill out there, just flowing it, but flying.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just flying.
Ozzy's one of the smoothest riders I've ever seen. Dude is like effortless when he rides, and he makes it work. He's super fast.
Then there's other guys who are kind of the opposite. I'm sure you've raced with Nate Teal.
Oh yeah.
He scared the crap out of me every time I was on the track with him.
Oh yeah.
Like, first off, you'd come up with jump combos that should not be jump combos.
He would always hit the biggest jump at the track.
Did you see the video of him where he broke his back at Mountain View?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It was stupid. I wasn't there, but someone sent me a video. It was a little blurry. I wonder if we could find it. It was one of those things like, who would ever think that was a jump? Like, it was like a table thing, and there's a table way over here, and some people, and then there's a bump. Yeah. He's like, I'll make it to the bump. You don't go 130 feet to a bump. Like,
no. No.
He weeded himself so bad, broke his back, and everyone was all freaking out, and like, he's bad, and he was in rough shape.
Yeah.
And they were like, he might be in the hospital for weeks, and next thing you know, he's in my shop a few days later. Like, dude.
He's a tough son of a gun.
He is.
Nate's a tough son of a gun.
And
he's Austin's stepbrother, I think.
Is that what it is?
Marriage, yeah. So I think his mom and Nate's dad are together.
Okay.
Maybe.
I knew they're related.
They're still together. But yeah, I think they're stepbrothers through marriage.
Gotcha. Totally different riding style, though.
Yeah.
Wild man.
Yes.
Just full wild man.
Versus like the smoothest rider almost you've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know.
Both fast, but yep. Nate just threw the bike everywhere, would do crazy jump combos. He was just a wild man. I think that just runs in his blood. Actually, I'm going to tell a story. Nate, I apologize if I'm not supposed to tell the story. How well do you know him?
Not that well. Just from the track. That's it.
So there was a time at the Dream Race. I don't remember the year, but there were some bonfires happening up in the woods. And, there's people drinking and partying and stuff, but Nate didn't drink. So just to give some context, somebody was telling me a story the next day. Oh, yeah, I was hanging out at this bonfire. This guy showed up with a cowboy hat and started taking his clothes off. And in the rain, came and did a front flip over the bonfire. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? She's like, oh, we want our old video. I'm like, I don't know if he was buck naked or just down to his boxers, but apparently he just started taking his clothes off because he didn't want to get them in the fire and front flipped over the bonfire. And then she's like, oh, yeah, he left like 5-10 minutes later. And she's like, no, he was sober. I'm like, wait. I'm thinking someone who's 12 drinks in. But he was sober and cowboy hat. Oh, and I saw Nate minutes later. Did you do a front flip over the bonfire? Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Who? First off, who does that sober?
Who does that at all?
Who does that?
Yeah, who does that at all?
He's just a wild man.
That's pretty rowdy. Well, he got into bull riding for a while.
It takes a wild man to go hop on a pissed off bull.
Yeah.
Like, they purposely find the meanest bulls.
They breed the 2 meanest bulls and just keep doing that down
and then
the line.
poke them in the side to really tick them off. And then, there you go.
Yeah, have at it, big boy. Ride it.
Yeah, that's like, I like a lot of adrenaline junkie type sports. That's not one I'm going to try.
No, that thing's got a mind of its own.
Yeah,
Jumping on something with a mind of its own, and it weighs, however much more than you do.
A lot.
And it's got horns that are coming at your face.
Yeah.
No.
And it's really pissed off.
Yeah, and that's the thing about bull riding. You go out and you ride a moto, okay, and you come back to the pits, you throw your bike on the stand, grab your water. Yeah, good race, dude. You go out and you ride a bull, okay, you ride him for 8 seconds, you still have to get off the thing, and it's probably not going to be pretty. So let's say you won the moto, and then just hit the finish line and just endoed straight over the bars and landed on your head. That's what, riding a bull is like. You
can't run away from your bike.
Yeah, you can't.
It's a guaranteed. Every time you get the checkered flag, you're flying off the bars.
Yeah,
it's a guarantee.
Yeah, sometimes it might not be that bad. You ride the nose and then step off, but you're crashing, guaranteed. Yeah. You win the race, you're still crashing on the finish.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Would you still line up every single time if you knew that you were going to endo like a mother effer at every checkered flag?
It's like taking a 500 through the whoops, and you get to the end, and you have to jump off the bike.
Yeah, if you had to take a CR 500 through the Washougal whoops and then jump off at the end.
Yeah, right over the end.
Exactly. Whether you won or got last.
Yeah, whether you won or got last doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just takes a special
right off the finish
kind
line,
of wild
you have to bail
man.
off the bike.
I can appreciate it. I kind of want to sponsor one of those guys.
Then it turns around and comes back at you.
Oh yeah, then there's a chance
with
the
the throttle
bike
pinned
might
wide
run
open.
You over.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pinned wide open
a couple times while you got a broken leg or
with
something.
With the really honed, spiky KTM front fender.
Yeah, I always had mad respect for bull riders. I have a lot of respect for, a lot of athletes, but bull riders were always top rank for me because those guys are so tough. And like I said, you can never get off the thing clean. You don't just go back to the pits and throw it on the stand, grab your water, and just hang out with your buddies. You're getting thrown off, and it's gonna hurt either way. Either way you look at it, it's gonna hurt.
It's like the gate drops and the start stretch is all whoops.
Turning whoops. It's been this way and that way.
That's right.
Just make it an ATC 250 with a stuck throttle, and I think you have
the
closest thing you could find.
Yeah, the three-wheeler.
Whoops with a stuck throttle three-wheeler.
Yeah, that would be pretty damn close.
That should be part of the dirty pickle.
Yeah, the Dirty Pickle. Guys, a lot of you have been hitting me up about the details on the Dirty Pickle GP series. We'll get those out soon. That just made me think. I'm going to show something. I wonder if I can show it on the screen. But we were talking three-wheelers. I want to know, would you race a three-wheeler?
Depends on, when you say race. Am I racing, the Dungey of three-wheelers, or am I racing,
a pit bike three-wheeler?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know
my girlfriend's brother and my girlfriend's cousin have them, and we rip them around all the time, and they're a blast. I love them.
Do you know Zach Johnson? Do you remember Zach Johnson?
I don't think
You
so.
probably raced him back in the day. So, were you ever at PIR when Mike Alessi showed up on a KTM?
That was before I started going to PIR.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I started going to PIR not till I was like 14 or 15. My dad we never went there. I don't know why.
Well, so he stopped racing when he was out there. And so, you know, PIR, after the starting line table,
Yep.
it takes a right.
Yep.
So they didn't run the table. Well, I think they might have actually ran the table like that. So what they did is they built up a lip, a kicker off to the left. So you jumped across the starting line and landed on the table.
So you're talking like after you hit the gate jump PIR, you
Sweep
go
wide.
right, and like right where the start straight basically meets the corner, they built a single there, and then you
kicker.
jumped onto the finish line.
Yes.
Holy crap.
There was a kid named Zach Johnson who decided he could huck that on a CR80.
So everybody else was just rolling it and then hitting the finish.
Some of the pros weren't hitting it. They're like, no, we'll just like roll over to the right because they built it really low on the right and just kind of hop it and then hit the table.
finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the pros were hucking the big gap, but it was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was a
I
booter style
imagine
too.
that
It just-
thing's like 50 feet in between,
Yeah.
you know, the start straight.
and you're coming out of like you're literally cornering into the lip.
Yeah.
So it was savage. And
I can imagine you just going left off the track.
it's just bad. Zach decided he'd do it. He did it once in practice, got the entire place on their feet
Oh, yeah.
because this kid on an 80 hucked it. And I'm just like, Zach, you're going to die. You're going to die. Well, he went out then tried to do it in his moto, and track had changed a lot. It got a little rutted, booted him wrong, broke his arms. Done
Both of
racing.
them?
Yeah, I forget the extent of all his injuries, but yeah, it messed him up pretty bad. But the one time seeing that in practice was savage because most intermediates were like, nope.
Yeah,
And
on
an
big
80.
bikes,
Yeah.
yeah.
on a big bike, and he was on an 80 and hucked it. So
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of people
impressive.
don't really remember Zach. Do you remember his brother Josh Johnson? He went pro for a while. He's still around, just kind of play rides. But
I don't know.
I'm finding you a picture. I'm going to see if we can maybe post it up for people. Oh, there's me taking out a 14-year-old. Yay. Not a proud moment. Where is Zach on here? So this was from the Pit Bike National, which I'm trying to con you into doing right now, because in the after show I have an announcement about it. But
I mean, I'm down. The main thing is I just need to get a pit bike. I don't know.
well, I happen to have
two sitting in my garage that I need. What do you call him? Zach Squatch?
yes, Zach Squatch.
I told Zach I will freaking pay him to put the engine back together in my KLX 110, and then I'll be good.
Oh, there you go.
But I
You
don't
just
have
got to
the
get him
time.
over there,
I don't have the time to do it.
get your pit bike running, and you're good to go. You have plenty of time. But the Northwest Mini Bike National was a blast. We saw all sorts of different oddball pit bikes, and if I can find this picture.
So you have like classes for like a 50
Yes, we
or a
have.
110 or like
Yes.
bigger, so you're not racing like a.
Oh, I don't know where the picture went. Oh, this is maybe D-Buck has it. Yeah, we have. I'm trying to remember how many classes we had last year. Like 15 classes, like 50 classes,
Okay.
110. We made a 3-wheeler class.
I know for sure like 2 guys that would come to the 3-wheeler class and race. I can for sure get them out.
We need some for the 3-wheeler class because we only had 1 last year,
Oh, I can get 2 more guys.
and that was
easy.
disappointing.
Dude, the 3-wheeler class, those things are a blast. Like,
You know what's super
those things are
sketchy
so
though
much
is
fun.
there is no suspension on a mini 3-wheeler.
No,
It's your tires only.
I've never actually like jumped them or rallied them. We just always do slow wheelies and see who can go the slowest and get the most vertical, and just kind of keep her there.
All right, maybe if I can find a picture here. By the way, we had 178 entries last year
Really?
for pit bikes.
That's good,
It was wild, and Little Base Flu was,
Preston.
yeah. Preston got one of our. I made 5 Savage Awards for guys who are the most savage. For example, one guy he got second place in a night race. We had also a night race with almost 60 entries.
Wow.
1 hour off-road GP at night. The guy who got second was holding a flashlight the whole time. That was his light. He rode
Yeah,
one-handed.
that guy deserves a Savage Award for sure.
He got the Savage Award because he rode one-handed for an hour straight in
He
the
didn't
dark.
duct tape it to his handlebars or something.
No, he's afraid it would come off.
Oh my gosh.
Another
guy
Savage
definitely-
Award went to a guy who did duct tape a flashlight to his front fender. He lost it the first lap, came in following someone, and we're like, that sucks, man. He's like, I know it's out there somewhere. I saw it spin off. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, I'll find it. And he just took off. And whoa. He just disappears into the dark with no light, with no one to follow anymore. He was all by himself because he was talking to us.
And this is at Riverdale?
This is at Riverdale.
Riverdale's dark in the trees.
Yeah.
Really
and he went
dark.
off into the trees with no light, no one to follow. And we were just looking after him like, it was good knowing you, buddy. It was good knowing you.
Sasquatches are
He
getting
came
you now.
in super late, but he found the damn flashlight, put it into his handlebars, held it there, and then
Wow.
got some more duct tape, and he finished the race. So he got a Savage Award. Preston got one for riding 8 classes,
Oh, wow.
I think. Yeah, he was nonstop on pit bikes.
Every class.
I think, yeah, every class he could find. Lots of people there. I'm trying to find the 3-wheeler guy, though. So Zach was the only 3-wheeler guy. I don't know why more people didn't get photos of him because it was hilarious. So you know the upper Arenacross track at Riverdale?
Yeah.
He hit almost every jump. There was a
On
couple.
the no suspension 3-wheeler.
Yeah, when he landed, it would bounce again.
Like 3 times before
Yeah,
you
it
get
was
going.
super sketchy. But he had stuck like a 150 or 160 engine in it.
Uh-huh.
And so he had the horsepower, and he was just sending it. He had a epic battle, and he actually beat Preston when Preston was on a full mod BBR 50.
That's awesome.
Preston got him in the second moto, but we were just like, you've got to be kidding me.
So this guy was just killing it on
He
the
was
3-wheeler.
shredding the 3-wheeler. Like, he beat all the 50 mod riders.
That's awesome.
I just, I'm trying to find a picture for everybody, and I'm struggling right now. I don't have, apparently, the best search skills here. There's at least one.
There we go.
Yeah. I'll drop this in the comments for you guys on Facebook.
Is that Preston right there next to him, too?
Yes. In this photo, you guys can see Preston. They were duking it, and 3-wheeler guy beat him in the first moto.
Wow.
Preston got him. Preston was not happy about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll drop a comment here for all you watching live, but it was a good time. So I think you need to get a bike together and come and race it.
Yeah, I absolutely do.
There's a picture down at the bottom left. Oh, right there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at a few more photos. That was one of the best battles of the day. And Preston got him a couple times, and he would just let her rip and just open it wide and pass him back.
You know, those things, for as being as little as they are, they're really stable.
If you say
they just
so.
like, if you just keep on the throttle, they just kind of like skip across the corners.
I will try one,
They're a blast.
but I feel like I would die.
If you tried one, you'd buy one the next day. They're
I
a
feel
blast.
like I would die.
They're a blast.
Hey,
Like-
if I could find one cheap, I'd buy one. Right now, though, my main thing is I want to build a Z50,
Oh, yeah.
a bubble tire.
Yeah.
I happen to have a 88 dual overhead cam engine,
Uh-huh.
and it needs to go in there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Have you seen Preston Z50? It's nice.
Preston has
Yeah.
a Z50.
He has a Z50, and it is cherry.
I have
Like,
no.
Really cherry. I don't think he rides it that much. It more just sits in the shop. Maybe it's more Dawn's. I don't know. But it's pretty cherry. It's nice.
I got to see this thing. I love me a
Yeah.
good Z50, man. I like the bubble tire bikes.
It's nice. It's like cherry.
Joe, it sounds like we're getting him into a pit bike race.
Sounds like it.
Sounds like it to me.
Well, maybe I'll either see if Giles can help me or maybe intern Joe can do some work on the engine.
Oh,
It
Joe.
literally just needs the top end put back on and engine hung in the frame.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah. But I need, actually, I take that back. I need the puller that pulls the flywheel so I can change the timing chain, which I don't have.
I got one.
You got one. What a surprise.
I got one. Yeah, I have a problem. I have a legit problem. I mean, I have a guy working for me pretty much just to fix my pit bikes.
Could be worse problems he had, I guess.
I am currently at 18. So it's a problem.
Yeah.
But, oh well, could be worse.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a lot worse. Could be in jail or something.
Well,
Could have 4 daughters.
could have. Joe, yeah, we could
Oh,
have
you
4
dropped
daughters
that,
like you.
didn't
I'm
you?
sorry, Joe. Although you did kind of burn yourself. But,
I did.
yeah, now I'm excited. We're going to get you out to a pit bike race. When was the last time you lined up on a starting gate, dude? Was it this winter?
Yeah, Salem.
You did
I
some
raced,
Salems.
I raced three Salems, yeah.
How'd it go?
Good. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It was-
fun?
It was great, yeah. I had a blast. The tracks were awesome, and it was fun. You know, I miss Clark County not being around. Obviously, I think that's a like a pinnacle thing in the Northwest. You know, and indoors, that was kind of like, you know, I started in indoors. Like I rode 50s, and then that was like my first real like race was at Salem Arenacross. My dad took me there, and we did the whole series after that. So indoors is like a special spot, you know, like whenever there's an indoor race, like I want to go. Like it's just a blast, you know. I wish we could have more of that stuff around.
Dude, I'm so bummed out that Clark County Arenacross is not running right now. Like, it'd be badass if we could get that back, but it's just not really looking like that's in the cards right now, you know?
I know. And
so
I think I know I've thought a lot about it and tried to make plans and tried to do this and that and try and get something going, even if it's not at Clark County. But it's tough, you know?
Oh, it's tough. And I don't know if people really realize how hard it is. Well, first off, just to make money in the moto industry. Not easy.
Yeah.
Joe, back me up on this.
Right.
It's not easy. Now, go try to be a promoter or a track owner. It's a scary thing, especially nowadays with all the lawsuits going around.
It's a gamble. It's rolling the dice.
Because you're in a high risk sport.
Yep.
And one lawsuit could ruin you. The profits aren't high. They're really not high. People think they're like, they're not. Especially now that all these tracks have to pay these higher and higher insurance rates.
And it's just going up every year. It's going up. You know, people are losing insurance. They have to pay more to get this insurance or whatever, you know.
I want to get a couple track owners on here just to talk about that. I don't know if people know how hard it is even to pull insurance. And then, okay, you got some employees. You have to pay them. Mm-hmm. You go tell L&I, oh, yeah, they're going to be standing next to a motocross track all day.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, this is up here.
Exactly.
You're going to be paying this much an hour to us. It's insane.
Yep.
Like the days of just kind of winging it, or, you know, 20 years ago, you could make good money. Just find a few volunteers, let it rip, and you'd get 400 entries, like rock and roll.
Yeah.
Nowadays, man, it's so tough just to keep it going. And I mean, I'm a promoter. I feel like I can talk about this. It's a tough gig.
I can imagine, you know, just even looking from the outside, you know, and being around it for so long, I can see all those things, you know. I don't even have to go through it, and I can see that that's just, you know, could be a nightmare.
And then when you're the owner, everything is going to eventually fall on you liability-wise.
Absolutely.
And then you got a big chunk of property. You have to, you know, think in your head, okay, do I keep running the races, or do I turn this into an RC car track, have less liability, and just let it, or do I just sell it?
And
you know,
they
it's
let
less
them
stressful.
build a neighborhood on it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I mean, think Washougal. How much is that property worth right now?
Oh, that's a gold mine.
It's a gold mine.
Yeah.
With all those nice homes going in around it, it's probably a tough call to just keep running dirt bike races there. Oh, we're gonna have a practice with 120 riders
for the love.
Yeah, there's no way it would be here
for the love and passion of the sport. That is not from a money aspect.
There's no way it would be here if they didn't love motocross.
No.
If the Huffmans did not like motocross,
that thing would have been gone 10 years ago.
Yeah, it would be gone. Because that property is just simply worth way too much money. Mountain View, it's literally in the middle of a neighborhood now.
Yep.
There's neighbors on all sides. And, like, yeah, that's worth a mint. To a lot smaller property than Washougal, but it's worth a mint because then you could put in a bunch of houses there.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Riverdale, maybe not as much mint.
No, because
it's in
you're
Toodle.
moving out, yeah.
But still, I mean,
but you still have the houses, you know, right there. You come in, and then you can go left, and there's those houses down there.
Yeah. These places wouldn't be here if they didn't love it, and
No.
it's a tough go. I know it's a tough go, so I'd love to actually have some guys on.
Absolutely, I think that'd be a really cool
talk about maybe the stuff that people don't really know that goes
the
on behind the
struggles
scenes.
behind it when people show up to the track and complain about this or that or the other thing, you know, and say, hey, you know, this is a day in the life of a guy that owns the track and deals with all this stuff, and it's more than just getting on the cat groom in the track and open the gates, everybody come ride.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a lot more than that. No, I get it.
Yeah, it's so different than it used to be. I mean, just the time that you've been racing, you know, when you were starting on like 80s to now, like the whole scene is different. And on so many aspects. Like think back. Okay, so when you were racing 80s, okay, how long ago was that?
I want to say I got off 80s in like maybe 2009.
2009. Okay.
2008, like end of 2008, 2009.
So let's say 2000. Let's just so 2008.
Yeah.
Think of how many more amateur nationals we had compared to now. Where's Ponca?
Non-existent.
Yeah. Does anybody really care about? Does anyone bring up mini O's?
Vegas?
Yeah, like
Where's Vegas? Remember when they used to do it in the pit down there, or even when they moved it to Mesquite?
oh yeah, I definitely remember at Mesquite.
Or
Yeah,
or the 3 rounds of Texas.
Yeah.
Now there's what, 1?
gone, just gone. Where's
Oh,
the?
it's gone now. There's Freestone. That's it.
I think that's still going.
Sorry.
I think that one's still going. Another good one. Where's the AMA Arenacross series?
Cut.
Just saying.
And you know, I thought that was a really cool deal they did.
What's
You know,
that?
the road to Supercross and all that. You know.
I loved Arenacross.
Yeah, I thought it was killer.
sick.
Yeah.
And the tracks are the size of a phone booth. Who cares? Good racing, gets a little buck wild.
It was great. Yeah.
I thought Arenacross was rad. I loved watching
I watched
Arenacross.
it every
Yeah.
week.
Me
Yeah.
too. And it was, it was always a tight points battle. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it was good bar to bar racing, like you said. And it gave some of the guys that, like, let's say I was to say, hey, I'm gonna train up and go race. I'd go race Arenacross. I'm not gonna go to Supercross. I have a better shot at doing decent at Arenacross than I do at Supercross. So it kind of gave the guys that maybe were right on the cusp of like making it an out to go and race that and still be able to like maybe get on the box tonight, on a privateer bike versus being, going out and being against Pro Circuit, Star, Geico, you were still really competitive, I think that was a great thing,
I thought it was great for the sport. It was a lot of fun to watch. And it's crazy. It's just gone.
Just cut.
Yeah, like just, hey, by the way, guys, no more Arenacross.
That's a big
Yeah,
deal.
it was like the last race of the year they announced it.
I couldn't believe that.
Well, I had heard a few little rumors. My cousin was missing Arenacross for a few years.
Yep.
And, I heard like a little stuff, but like they wouldn't shut down Arenacross. And they just like, it was fun, guys. See ya.
Yeah.
Just like that. Like, not like, really? Just no more
Just cut the
Arenacross.
cord. Done. Not even shorten not even like, okay, we're only going to do 5 rounds or whatever.
And I think Jacob Hayes finally won. Got the number 1 plate. They got it.
Did he really?
There's some fast boys that did come out of Arenacross. I mean, we'll look at Bowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's no slouch.
And then
No.
Chris Blows is doing good.
Yeah.
Jacob Hayes is doing pretty good.
Yep. Jacob Hayes has been doing really good.
Some fast boys came out of there. So
Yeah, and they
I thought
went right into Supercross and doing great.
oh yeah, jumped right into Supercross. Like, oh sweet, we got full size tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can let her eat now.
Yep.
And then
But-
there's that. Have you seen that kicker Arenacross thing that's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Is that part of the monster truck stuff?
I don't know. I don't think it's part
Okay.
of the monster truck stuff, but I seen it on TV the other day and I watched it and I was like, man, it's like the tracks are still decent, seems like, but the guys are not there. Like
Yeah.
you got like a couple guys that are, that same caliber that were there.
Dude, it's so hard to run against the big wigs, the
Yep.
AMA,
Yep.
MX Sports, Feld, just conglomerate. Like, good luck. Honestly, that would be the best thing, I think, for the industry is if we lost a monopoly. If we lost that monopoly, it would be the best thing we could see for the industry. For one, because competition breeds excellence.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got no competition, you're just going to do whatever because there's no competition.
No, and you want to go compete with AMA? Go ahead.
As a
What are you
promoter,
gonna do?
I don't know how I would ever.
Even dream of starting to compete with that.
For example, I looked what it would cost to rent the Tacoma Dome back in the day.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't think the bank's going to give me that. Like, it is insane how
yeah.
much it costs. So, good luck. But if someone came in, for example, for fighting, there is UFC and Bellator are the big ones here. Bellator is not as big as UFC. But you know what? They keep them honest. And they've taken champions from them. Like, come here. We'll pay you. And they've kept them honest and kept them on their toes on different things because they can't go too far left field and do some dumb things and treat their fighters too bad.
And just get
because they're
away
just
with
going to
it.
jump ship and head
Yeah.
over to Bellator and they'll take care of them.
Yep.
So it's like they keep each other in check. And yeah, there's always going to be a leader.
Yep.
but there's got to be someone like there keeping you on your
nipping
toes.
at the heels.
Yes,
just
exactly.
Keeping them in check.
Nipping at the heels. And I think...
Or nipping at the butt, right, Joe?
Lucy, buzza.
I think if we had some corporation with a lot of money behind them, the problem is it's hard sell to get someone to go do that, but had some kind of competition, or this would be really interesting, have them sell the nationals to some other group.
I never thought of that.
That would keep it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's indoor versus outdoor, but that'd be a good way that they're not directly running on top of each other on weekends type thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, then who's going to start treating the riders better? And who's going to start, maybe come up with different incentives or different... I think the streaming thing right now for Supercross needs a lot of love, needs some work. I think it's the right idea, but it needs work, but you'd step up your game if you got someone else doing it better. Mm-hmm. So I would love to see that.
Yeah,
but I don't
need the competition, just like you're saying. You need that, that one-up playing field where it's one up, and they're just going up the ladder.
Because you're both going to do better.
Exactly, until you get perfection. Where it's just 100% perfection. That's what you need. And when you, like you said, when you have no consequences, so the AMA says, yeah, we're going to do this, and all the fans say, that's dumb. Why would you do that? What are they going to do? They're going to say, well, what are you going to do? Not come to my race? I don't care.
Yeah.
Who's going to take me out?
Yeah.
We don't care. No. Hey, my butt still hurts from that.
Buzza.
Yeah, you have a feisty little
Jamie
dog.
sent me that.
Just out of nowhere, just standing there, minding my own business. Joe's dog comes up and attacks me. Viciously attacks me.
You
Just kidding.
stood up pretty quick, and I
thought it was Joe. That's the worst part of it.
It is.
I thought it was Joe.
Are you used to Joe grabbing your ass?
Well, no, but he walked by me right when that happened.
Yeah.
He walked right by me, and I felt this sharp pain, and I was like, "Whoa!" A little frisky there, Joe. And then I look back, and he's way across the room, and I'm like, "Oh wait!" And the dog's sitting there looking at me. I'm like, "Yeah, you bit me."
Yeah, I think she thinks when people move fast when I'm around that they're gonna come at me, so she herds you.
Hurted
and hurts
me,
you.
huh? Yeah. Still hurt today.
Jesus, that Lucy. We're gonna have to do something about it. We're gonna pull her teeth out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put her down.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Just file her teeth
Whoa.
down.
We're gonna have to put a choker on her.
Maybe we shouldn't say this on air. Oh, you went there.
Oh no.
Back to competition, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
What do you think about for the amateur stuff, though? We were talking about amateur nationals. I know you went and hit a few.
Oh yeah.
They're
Bend
kind of
all
dying
about all
out,
of
dude.
them.
What do you think it's going to take? Does it just need a few promoters put on something big? Who puts on Mammoth? Who is it that does Mammoth?
2X Promotions. The guy's name is Myron, I believe.
But
Super nice
they don't
guy.
do a bunch of other stuff.
No, all they do is the Mammoth qualifiers and Mammoth.
So do you think some promoters just got to step it up and make a really big race again? Because, back in the day, we're going way back in the day here. I'm making myself sound a little dated. Back when Cycle News was the main source of moto information. Back when there was 80s, not 85s.
Yep.
And back when, I'm trying to pick, let's go a little further back, 03, 04, it was the biggest deal in the world to make it to one of those amateur nationals.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Everybody would go, train and go there and just absolutely pack the parking lots.
Yep.
And it's not quite like that. You still get something Mammoth is still crazy.
Yeah.
Loretta's is still a big deal. It's
Loretta's.
Loretta's.
Yeah.
It's the gold standard.
It's toned down a lot from what it used to be, though.
But it's not this. You don't get the same buzz and the same excitement. Do you think that's? I don't know. I haven't given this a ton of thought. I've thought maybe because social media has actually we got so many other things to look at. We're not. It's kind of whatever. We've lost the excitement part. Maybe we just don't have as many riders. I don't know. Why do you think the excitement's not the same?
My honest opinion is I feel like there's too many little spur races that are trying to be a national, but they're not. You know what I mean? I think they need to go back to what do they call it? The Big Five? Texas, Vegas, Ponca, Loretta's, Mini-O's.
how do you make one though? How do you make one that size? How do we?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because
That's
it's
the
also
thing.
weird. Because for example, I run a pro race every year.
Yeah.
I think you've done some of mine.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
I've
Summer
done a few of
Classic.
them.
So I want to get some pros. I put up pro money.
Yeah.
Usually an easy way to get some pros there. You
Yep.
bring some pros, spectators have a good time. With the spectators, you get a few food vendors. It's like a guaranteed, if I put up some money, we even went to Castle Rock at a track with 49-second lap times.
Yep.
And we still
I was
packed
there
the
for that
place.
one, yeah.
We
Yeah.
packed the place. And like the first one we did, we got like 68 pros
Mm-hmm.
and thousands of spectators because we put up the money.
Yep.
Amateur nationals, you can't put up the
No.
money. So it's like, what do you do that's going to draw them? I mean, is it the attention? Because I feel
That's what it is. I think because if you think about it, every amateur kid is chasing a ride. Really. I mean, they're chasing championships, but they're, at least when I was growing up, that's what every kid was. They wanted to be on a KTM or a Geico Honda or Star Yamaha or, back in my day, Rockstar Suzuki. They wanted that ride. So everybody was chasing that and then trying to get that and get into the pros. So it was like, okay, where am I going to go and get the most recognition? I'm not going to go to this race that there's nobody at. I'm going to go to Loretta's where, you got the big manufacturers there and they're all looking at you,
yeah.
So I think if you had the backing from all the manufacturers to be there and have all eyes on the track, I think it doesn't matter where you put it.
Do you think you think it would be getting the manufacturers involved that would then bring in the amateurs?
I think so.
Well, obviously contingency is huge. If you had
Contingency's a
like a
big deal too,
large, not the $100 win, but if you had the $500, $700
Yep.
type win, then I think that's a huge draw. So I guess they're the money. That's how you do the money.
Yep.
But you think it's schmoozing all the KTM Honda boys like? Sorry, all of them. I only brought up those two. Don't start hating on me. I didn't say Kawasaki. But getting them all out and showing support is what would draw the rest of them.
I think so.
Or I'm sorry, draw all the amateurs.
I think so. Because that's, I mean, parents spend so much money and so much time and so much effort on this sport, and they want to get their kid to the point where he's on a factory bike and going to that next level, or
Yeah.
an amateur support bike and going to that next level, And I think if you had all eyes on the riders, I think wherever you did it, whenever you did it, I think people would come.
No, that makes total sense. Getting the brands involved, that would be huge.
That's the ultimate goal, right? When you're an amateur rider, is to get a ride and go pro.
Yeah, no, that's
For most people.
and totally. That's why they're doing so much. That's why people are selling their second car so they can take their Pee Wee rider
Yep.
to Loretta's.
Yep,
I mean,
exactly.
Because one day they'd like to go,
All the
make
way
a pro
with it.
or
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
Although I feel
absolutely.
like, not to be a hater here, but I feel like a lot of these people, once they make it, it's not really what they thought.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard lifestyle.
I mean, there's a lot of people who finally lined up for Supercross
with a ride.
and then went to a construction job next year.
Yep.
It's I think making it is they have false hopes and dreams. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from going pro
No.
or like I would still love. It's still a dream. I'm one day going to go to Canada to finally do it. I want to line up for a national. Problem is I've always been working. I've always been slow. So I never got a chance to. But that was a dream. Just once. Just want one weekend to say I did that. And I think, I mean, to this day, I might not have been riding for how long. And to this day, that still seems awesome to me. And I know all these guys got that dream. It just sometimes hurts seeing how much they're willing to give up and chasing after a dream that's going to give them nothing.
Yeah.
How many pros, as someone who raced pro for, I don't know, how many years did you do it? Like
how many
few years,
how many
like-
years have I been
yeah,
pro now?
yeah. How many years since you turned pro?
I was 16 when I turned pro. I'm 23 now.
So 7 years.
Yeah,
7 years you have raced for money, and you've lined up against the fastest guys in the world.
On Washougal National, Glen Helen, yeah, all those nationals.
And once again, I'm not trying to say this to discourage anyone because I would love
No.
to see everyone chasing their dreams and totally going after it. But how many guys have you grown up with or know personally have really made good money?
None. I don't think. I mean, wow, maybe one or two.
I can only say like, I think 2 that I would say made decent money, and those are the Hill brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was thinking.
Because I grew up with them as I'm a little older, but like back in the day, I used
Justin's, you know,
they were just down the road in La Center, you know.
Yeah, he's got a title. You know, he was on Pro Circuit, you know, and then went to JGR, and you know, when everybody knows when you win a title, you know, your stock goes way up for your 450 ride.
So they probably made a few bucks here and there.
Yeah,
you know, pretty
absolutely.
decent. Josh Hill was a factory rider. Justin has a championship.
Yep.
I'd say they made some money.
Yep.
How many people are Justin Hill?
1%.
Do you remember watching Josh Hill and Ryan Villapoto race?
Yeah.
On minis?
Yeah.
It was like when they raced, it was like, oh dear God. Like it was savage. You know what I mean?
Those guys were like, you just watched them and were like, these guys are my heroes, both of them.
See, I'm all about racing for fun, and that's really what I try to preach to people about my events, because I just, you take it too seriously. I'm like, okay, have you ever seen, I try to bring up examples like, 50s. Have you ever seen what Landon Courier used to do on a 50? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, go watch a video, go watch how your kid rides. Mm-hmm. Ride for fun. Yeah. Ride for fun, enjoy it. You want to hit some amateur nationals? Go for it. Don't pull out a second mortgage though. Yeah. But like, if you can, totally go for it. But watch your kid ride a 50. Go watch Landon Courier old school Mini Warrior videos ride a 50. Yep. Go, or actually Josh Hill was in a couple of those, I think, too. Go watch him do heel clickers over 80-foot triples at 11. Like, you know. Yeah, exactly. It was a little different. Yeah. Like people chasing, like, I don't know, man. He's got a lot of talent. One day, I'm like, have you seen the guys who get 20th place, how they looked on 80s? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. It was just like next level savage stuff. Like, you watched them and you were like, this guy's the next Ricky Carmichael. Yeah. Yeah, they're just crazy fast. So, I don't want to be discouraging and stuff, but like, I hate seeing when guys are, I'm not going to name names, but I know 2 different families who've lost their houses because they were hitting too many amateur nationals, traveling here, traveling there, and lost it. Mm-hmm. Is it worth it? No, it's not. You know, they say like 1% of people that, you know, if you take everybody that rides in America as a whole, and you take 1% of those, that's the guys that make it just to the race. Yeah. And you know, I'm one of them guys that just made it and said, hey, you know, I qualified for nationals. I would say out of the people who race, not even ride, because think how many more people who ride and don't race. Because, okay, so if we take Washougal, let's say an average Washougal race, what are we, 250 riders? Yeah, something like that. I think that's usually a good average for a well-ran Pacific Northwest track around these days. And 250 seems like a nice median range. So let's say it's 250. And out of those guys, how many are going to line up to a national? Like, you go through it. Most of the pros never will. Maybe 1 or 2 local pros. Or actually, maybe I should revise that. Are we talking qualify? Because a lot of people can get the pro card to go try. Yeah. So I guess I should maybe revise that. Because, for example, my cousin Mason's, you know Mason. Yeah, oh yeah. You grew up racing him. Yeah. He's yet to make a main. Yeah. It took him a while just to make a night show. Mason's pretty good. And he's yet to make a main. So I guess there's categories there. So maybe revise the exact percentage. But yeah, very few. For a privateer, though, in my opinion, making the night show is like a win. You know, like you make the main, that's like awesome. But you just make the night show is like a big deal. You don't make money till you make a main, though. That's what's wild to me. Mm-hmm. Is you don't make money till you make the main. You're there, and man, I'm really grumpy tonight apparently. But you're a privateer. You're going out racing your heart out. Mm-hmm. You're putting on a show. Mm-hmm. Okay, yet you have to pay to be there. Yeah. That's the deal. That's the deal with, you know, that goes back to what we were talking about a little bit ago about the competition. There needs to be something for these riders, you know? I mean, okay, you make it to the night show. You're one of the 40 best riders in the United States, maybe the world, that night. Yeah. And you have nothing to show for it other than money out of pocket. Well, what's the deal with that? I think they pay LCQ. They do pay LCQ? They started not too long ago. Like top 3. They used to pay. I think they pay everybody in the LCQ. They used to pay $1,000 to make the night show in the 450 class. Yeah, that was for last place night show or main? Night show. Really? Yeah, that was a little while ago. I think in the last couple of years. That was like before the downturn. LCQ pays 05, 06, 07. Something. but how much does it cost them though?
Oh, it costs them more than they make for
you
sure.
know, when Mason was on here, I think they were saying it's at least $300 to $400 for.
I think it's $250 for the entry and.
Well, then.
And then your license for the
Didn't they say they had to pay camping?
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
They had to
have
pay
to
the
pay-
parking and
yeah.
camping, and then if you want an extra mechanic pass, I think you only like get 2
Oh, yeah.
or something like that. I should maybe check up on this. I didn't think we were talking about this tonight, but I would have done my research. But
It just went there.
yeah, I mean,
No,
you know,
honestly, yeah. Actually, I don't know about the 250, but I know the 450 LCQ. Everybody in it gets money.
but it blows my mind that we're charging the best people in the world money to compete when I'm going back to fighting for a moment. Sorry, guys. I do have a picture of Conor McGregor on the wall. Curtis says everyone in the night show makes money. Well, that's good. How much more than what you paid, though? I'm curious. So, fighting, you get paid just to show up. You may completely get just destroyed, but like a UFC level, you get paid minimum of $3,500 just to show up. Plus, they pay for your hotel and all that. You go to a smaller promotion, it's usually still $1,000.
Yeah.
And we're talking small ones that get live streamed to a website that doesn't get much money, many more hits than Moto Monday. You know, we're talking small time pro shows. You're still getting at least $1,000. You're not paying. You're getting paid because you're the entertainment. Without you, there would be no crowd.
Yep. And I think that's the deal. You know, I think we need to, you know, like you're saying, you know, you compare it to other sports, and even if you lose, you're still getting paid. You know, you look at the golfers, the guy that gets 20th place or 30th place, however many guys there is at the Masters, he's freaking living in some penthouse in Southern California, driving a Lamborghini every day. He's killing it, you know? And, you know, golf is technical and it is hard, and I don't want to offend anybody on here. But,
Go for it. I do it all the
I
time.
will.
Yeah,
You know,
I will.
you know, it's not
If you can do it
motocross.
drunk,
I'm sorry. You know,
no,
like motocross is the ultimate intersection between man and machine. In my opinion, hardest sport on earth. You know, you have so many elements and so much stuff to deal with. If that guy's living in a penthouse in California and just killing it for making 20th place, or the guy that sits on the practice bench and just gets hit all day for the Seahawks, if he's making a couple $100,000 a year, why shouldn't a guy that gets, you know, decent place?
It
in
is
the
the sponsor
Supercross?
money. We do not get the same sponsor money, and I get that.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to totally hammer on the big boys just because they don't pay enough. I think they just, you know, I think they need to drop down how much it costs a privateer to race. I think they need to bring that down a notch when you're getting 40,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
So that's just my thoughts on that. And if we had a little competition, if we had a little competition, then it might happen. Yeah, see, I'm gonna have to double check some of this on exactly pay, but well, at least it's good to know though they are paying down more though.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. They switch it around, so it's like, you know, you don't.
when you so you did a Supercross, didn't you?
No, never done
Outdoor.
Supercross. Outdoors. I've done
I'm sorry,
5 or 6 outdoors.
I'm mixing you up with Abrigo because he was here.
Oh, Brigo came down?
Abrigo, it's been a little while, but he was here, and we were talking about, and I
Abrigo's a
totally
cool dude.
forgot that he did a Supercross. I was like, oh yeah.
Dude, Abrigo, he killed a couple Supercrosses if I remember right. He
You know
did
who
good.
else did? Anstedt,
Oh, yeah.
who's off climbing hills now.
Oh, yeah.
But Vegas, the last time I was in Vegas, man, it's been a little while now. But
Yeah.
dude, he was leading Carmichael in like an LCQ. I don't know why Carmichael ended up there, but I was like, holy crap, Jake, you're gonna remember this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of Northwest boys, you know, that have went to the show and done really well.
Supercross is gnarly though, man.
It is gnarly. It is gnarly. But, you know, coming from, you know, that's another thing. You know, we come from the Northwest. I mean, where's a Supercross track you can go practice on?
Exactly. Nowhere. Private.
Yeah. And even then, what one do you hear of? Not hardly any.
No, like yeah, go find a private track that's selling beefed up a bit, and
Yeah.
that's all you got. Whereas you go down to SoCal, might have a
Dude,
few more
every
options.
block there's a Supercross track.
Might
you know?
have a
There's-
few more options.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, it maybe if there was more, like, it goes back to the whole thing. If there was more for the guy that was just doing, you know, decent and making the night show and trying to, you know, make it into the main event, and there was more money involved, maybe there would be more money to back us building a Supercross track up here and having guys practice on it because more guys would want to ride that to go to Supercross and try and be there.
Yeah. You know, our riders do great, though, on those really nasty, muddy Seattle Supercrosses,
Absolutely,
dude.
They do great. Yeah, absolutely.
When we get those nasty conditions, you see Chad Reed and a bunch of Northwest boys just throwing down.
Absolutely. Reed's a savage. He's my hero.
Dude, I'm cheering him on. He
Reed's
thinks
my
he's
hero.
racing Vegas. He thinks
Really?
he's racing Vegas.
What? So we got
2 weeks.
broken scapula, arm. The dude's a stud. I give it up to him.
And
Chad
he's
Reed's
getting
stud.
old, man.
Yeah.
You know how horrible it's going to be when he retires and decides, maybe I'll go race Mammoth in the 40-plus class.
Dude,
He's almost 40.
He's probably gonna, what the crazy thing is? He's probably gonna like race Supercross and then race Mammoth 40 plus in the off season, then go back and race Supercross the next year.
Dude, lining up to him, you got to be just thinking like, crap.
This guy is freaking a savage.
Mike Brown, who? Like, we got
exactly.
Chad Reed.
And Brown's a savage.
Brown's a savage.
That
He's not on
dude's
Reed's
gnarly.
level.
No,
but,
he's not.
But he's also, 90? Sorry, Mike. No,
I think
I
he's
love
only-
Mike Brown.
I think, what's Mike Brown? Like in his 40s?
He's easily mid 46, maybe.
Yeah.
Does anyone know? Like he's
I don't know.
deep into his 40s, I think. Looking it too. No offense, Mike, but I just remember Mike Brown, and it's kind of crazy. You run into guys you remember seeing on TV or ran into, and then like a few years later, oh wow, oh okay, you're old now.
Yeah.
Except Jeff Emig.
Jeff Emig doesn't age.
He's still looking smooth.
He doesn't age.
He's looking smooth and sexy. That sounded weird though.
Smooth and sexy.
Sorry.
Sounds like Justin's got a man crush on Jeff Emig.
Dude,
I think
he's a
so.
savage on a pit bike.
See, he does.
I
have a
like
man
his
crush.
story.
He's already talking about it.
I like his story.
I like his story.
He,
too.
he could not talk. He, he
I
had a
know.
speech impediment,
Yeah, and he didn't want to talk on the podium. Nothing.
and now he's an announcer. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. What happened to him, by the way? Like, why is he just disappeared?
I have not got the full
Does he just
story.
want to take time off, or like?
I don't know, man. I didn't get
Because
the
I'm
full
curious
story.
because I really liked when he announced. He really broke it down and was good.
Sometimes
I
he
thought
didn't
it-
show enough emotion and get into it. But I'm sorry, right now Ricky Carmichael's killing me,
The vote is
dude.
killing me.
Listen, I know this guy's fast, okay,
Yeah,
but
he was a
I'm
savage.
struggling listening to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know the rules. That's all.
He gets a little aggressive too. Like he wants to like slam. Like you can tell the guys that ride at his farm because the other guys, he's like, oh, that guy just out of control takes him out. It's like, okay, Ricky, what would
Well,
you have done in your day?
It makes sense
You'd
why
have
he was a
taken him out,
champion.
too.
When you listen to him, it makes
Yeah.
sense why he was a champion. He gets competitive, but he
Just over, sitting there on the microphone, he's getting so fired up.
I know he's like, nah, that guy doesn't know the rules. I'm like, he has a rule book in his hand. Like,
It's not the goat. It's the
Quiet down
vote.
back there, Reese. It's not your turn yet.
so yeah, I think Emig needed to show a little more emotion, but
He
he
was
did a
very
good job.
professional
He was very
and-
professional.
Yeah.
He could give you real experience. Like he can talk from experience about racing Supercross. I thought he was really good. Chronicles had his moments, but overall, I'm just not stoked. And he shows favoritism. You can tell who he likes, and he gets stuck on.
Dude,
and-
you remember maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Dungy? That's all he would talk about. Like
Oh.
you would hear him Ryan would be in a battle, and he'd be like, "Oh, come on, Ryan, get him." You'd hear him say it under his breath. You'd hear him be like, "Come on, Ryan, get him."
Well, dude, it totally makes sense why he was champion. Like that guy lives for beating other people. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
can tell, he's just got that thing, that little redhead thing in him that no wonder he whooped everyone because he would be so mad at himself if he didn't.
Oh yeah, he'd be.
So
up
I
at
have
night,
respect
just
for
not
that.
Sleeping.
I have respect for that. But I prefer Jeff Emig. And I understand how hard it is. I've made so many slips on the microphone. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Absolutely.
But if we're talking about the best of the best, I think we could have done better than Carmichael.
Yeah.
Although one thing I was thinking about, we're going to have to wrap this up in just a minute, but one thing I was thinking about is, do you know that they have to do all the qualifying video and stuff too?
Yes.
That's a lot of
yeah.
hours up there.
Absolutely, yeah. That is a lot of hours in the booth. And I think maybe that's why Emig wanted to. I mean, how long has Emig been doing it? It's a while.
while.
It's been a while.
But you're not as sharp when you do it for like at the end of the day, dude. I'm struggling to come up with creative. I've used a lot of lines. I've used a lot of jokes. I'm struggling to be creative as an announcer who does local races. I'm kind of tripping by the end, but thankfully, a lot of times I have a fill-in guys. Reese helps me out. Guys who jump on the mic and do some, and you just take a little refresher away, and you're like, okay, right, it comes back. But talking for hours on end,
dude, you're like numb at the end.
Your brain just turns to mush.
Yeah.
And I think that they would really do well if they found someone else to do everything up into the main show.
A split, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need Carmichael for the first part.
You know who's great? Daniel Blair.
Dude, he's hilarious.
I love Daniel Blair.
I like Daniel
awesome.
Blair.
He's awesome.
He was a solid choice.
Yeah, he was a great choice. And, he kind of went through, like, Arenacross and then went into Supercross, and he's great. But I think they need to freaking put Ricky down on the floor and put Daniel in the booth.
I think that they need to find a lady that actually speaks American English.
No, everybody's in it.
Do we really care what the girl has to say?
Justin doesn't.
No.
We all do.
No.
I'm just messing.
But it's like, Jesus, why do they have to have an accent?
She has a thick accent.
Yeah.
Because it's the Australian thing it's in right now.
Oh, it's in.
Oh, well, good to know.
Get yourself an Australian girl. It's in.
Speaking of Australian, before we end the show, would you like to play the didgeridoo?
I already tried. It's not working out good. I am not near as good as the guy on your video.
Well,
I think intern Joe needs to play it. How many times has this thing been played in front of intern Joe and he has not played it? That's what I want to know.
We only got
it's ever really been played.
Yeah, we only got it about a month ago.
Yeah.
Well,
but so I one day we'll have a guest here who will actually know how to play.
Well, maybe if I get invited back to Moto Monday again,
you can practice
and get some practice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one off Amazon.
They're like $35 on Amazon. This is the travel size. There you go.
Perfect. I can keep it in the back of my truck and practice.
On the way to work.
Lunch.
Yeah, on the way to work, right?
Like
build a
little prop or something to kind of hold it there, and just as you're driving.
No, you just steer with it while you're using it.
There you go.
I think it's a little long for that.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh, set you
I
up
saw
for
you
that
looking
one, Joe.
over at me.
Oh, that's number 2.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to get out of here. We're gonna have the after show here in a few minutes. Anything else that you want to bring up or say, or that we missed? Or...
Well, I would like to say that Bob Brasty brought up a question. What was your favorite amateur national track?
Mine.
Yeah.
Favorite all-time national track?
Amateur national.
Probably. That would be a toss-up between when they did World Minis at Mesquite. I didn't like the one in the hole, or Mammoth. Mammoth was really fun. I didn't always get along with that track. It seemed to crash a lot there, but the track was really fun. I didn't like Loretta's. So probably World Minis at Mesquite would be my all-time favorite. And they did that for a couple years, but it was really a fun track.
I heard a lot of people liked when I was there.
It was
I actually got to meet
awesome.
the owners randomly at Vegas Supercross and got to sit with them. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
I have one last random question.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anyone who said they really enjoyed Loretta's?
A couple kids that have won championships there every year.
Because most people come back from Loretta's like, oh.
That place is like...
It eats people up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it has no flow, no rhythm, and it just, like, it just spins you. Like, you show up the first day for practice, and you ride it good or you don't. And I feel like the rest of the time, like, if you don't ride it good, like, you struggle the rest of the time. Like I'm talking every year you go back. Like, it's just weird. It's like, it's really tight, and there's a lot of ruts. So it's like Arenacross with ruts. And then on top of that, you're like, the jumps don't make sense. I don't know. Loretta's is tough, you know. I got third in a couple motos there, and those were hard-fought battles. I remember coming off the track and being like, oh, man, I got 10th. And they're like, oh, come up to the podium. And I was like, what? Like, nice. Loretta's is that crazy. Like, you don't know where you ended up. It's not a normal race where you're like, oh, man, I got third or I got second. Like, I was following these guys the whole time. And, you know, I passed a couple guys, got into third. It's like you just cross the finish line, and then they tell you what you got after you cross the finish line. That's the way it is, because it's crazy. And the heat is out of control.
Yeah, most people I talk to go there and
miserable.
just like, that was the gnarliest thing I've ever done on a dirt bike.
Yeah, like you literally have like you're like delusional at the end of the race. Like you're like riding a trail
Hot,
for the
sometimes
track.
completely muddy, people crashing into people, just everything's just wide open craziness.
But dirt is fantastic. Dirt's fantastic. Track layout, not so much.
Not so. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thank you, Elias. Thank you for coming on a second
absolutely.
time. I appreciate it.
Hopefully I get invited back again. I always love it.
Oh, if you learn how to play the Didge, you're definitely coming back on. Thanks, guys, for watching and listening. We'll be back in just a few minutes for the after.